In this video, I will show you how I got my friend Brad an English teaching job in a foreign country in under 21 days. And no, you do not need a TEFL certification. That is one of the biggest myths in this industry, and I'll explain more about that later. For Brad, he had been struggling for about a year or two to try and get his blog to become profitable. It just so happened that while he was considering what his next move would be, Tamz and I had come back from an amazing 3-month trip around Asia. And to say that we were excited was an understatement. So that's why we suggested that if you wanted a fresh start, maybe teaching English in Asia would be a good idea.
Brad,
Nick,
tell us, how do you feel? And what was the process so far, and how has it gone?
I couldn't possibly recount the process. It all happened so quickly. I don't know what's going on. I'm leaving it in your capable hands.
I'll break down this video into 2 parts. Part 1 will go through exactly how I applied for the jobs and the scripts that I used, as well as the interview process that Brad had to go through and the documents that you need to prepare for this whole process.
People are making errors today,
I'm doing my best.
trying to get our stuff ready for Japan and Taiwan.
And part 2 will go through the process that we had to go through once we arrived in the country. Part 1, apply. The first question you might have is, where do you even go to find these jobs? Well, for both Tamz and Brad, I use the exact same website called daveeslcafe.com. When you first land on this website, you might wonder whether this website is even legit. I can confirm that it is. In fact, this website has a really good reputation amongst the community. The website is quite easy to navigate. All you need to do is put in the country that you would like to go and teach at, and it will populate a whole bunch of results for that specific country on which institutions or schools that are looking for English teachers. For Brad, I recommended that he apply to our favorite country, which is Taiwan, which is actually the country that we are emigrating to quite soon. Once the website had populated all the English schools that were looking for English teachers, I basically just applied to every single one on the first page because those are the most recent ones. The tip here would be to apply to every single school without looking at the requirements. And the reason why is because if I had to look at the requirements, I would have only been able to apply to 1 or 2 schools because most of the schools did not have South Africa listed as a country which they were accepting applicants from. I ended up emailing 8 to 12 schools, and the very next day we got interest from 6 of them. Here is exactly what I emailed them, and as you can see, I didn't use anything crazy, fancy language, intergalactic essays. I just kept it simple and kept it short, and that's what I recommend for you. There's also no need for you to go and customize each email to a specific school. All you need to do is just copy and paste the script exactly as it is and email it to as many people as you can. Trust me, this process works. The interview. For each school, you probably have to go through 2 interviews, and I wouldn't really say the first one is an interview. It's basically them just trying to get to know you a little bit better. So it's like, what's your background? What is the reason why you want to teach English? When's the earliest that you can actually come through to teach? And then most of the interview is basically them just telling you their process, what's their culture like at their school, how many hours would you be working. So it's just the common questions that you probably would have that they're just trying to answer up front so that you have a better idea before you accept their position. Luckily, Brad managed to record one of the interviews that he had, and I managed to go through that and summarize basically all the questions that he was asked by the interviewer, as well as all the questions that Brad asked that you might want to ask when you go to your interview. If that's a document that you think will help you better prepare for your first interview, then just let me know in the comments below and I'll share the link to the document with you. The second interview is a teaching demo, and basically what they want you to do here is to conduct a short lesson as if you're teaching a class. But don't worry, there won't be any kids, it'll just be you and the interviewer. This demo allows them to understand your teaching style as well as your ability to be able to engage with the students. With the demo, they'd either ask you to create your own course material, or they would provide you with their own course material that you can prepare a few days before your interview. Once the 2 interviews are done, they normally take about 2 to 5 days to respond to you on whether they've accepted you for the position. The documents for most of the countries are pretty much the same. You'll need an updated CV, the original bachelor's degree, your criminal background check, you might need a visa depending on the passport that you hold, and you'll need a health report, which this is normally conducted once you arrive in the country that you'll be teaching at. I highly recommend that you start getting all the documents ready at the start of the interview process, and the reason why is because some of the documents take quite a long time to get.
This right here is Brad's Taiwan folder. If his bag ever gets thrown into the ocean, pretty much all his original documents are messed up. This is just recording to let Brad know when shit hits the fan, I'll bring this recording up and I'll say I told you so.
I've got a Ziploc bag, okay?
He's got a Ziploc bag of all the non-necessary stuff, and all the original stuff is in that file.
For the visa, normally you need quite a lot of documents in order to apply for it. So I'd highly recommend that you start getting those documents ready so that you can immediately apply after you've accepted a position. The criminal background check normally takes the longest to get. So I'd highly recommend that you find an agent that can help you get that much faster. For Brad, it actually reduced his time from 6 weeks to getting it within 3 to 5 days. You got the job. Out of the 6 interviews, Brad was accepted into 5 schools, which is a really good position to be in. And that's why I'd highly recommend that you apply to as many schools as you can so that you will also have 5 or 6 or 10 different options in the end to be able to choose from. Because this allows you to choose the school that you feel best suits you. To answer the TEFL debate on whether you actually need a certification in order to teach abroad, and as you can see from Brad's case, you actually don't. I will agree that some schools strictly require you to have a TEFL certification in order to teach at the institutions, but there are just as many schools out there that don't actually require this that you can actually apply to. This applies to other countries as well. For Tamz, even for Korea, she didn't actually need a TEFL certification when I applied for her, and as you can see from these posts for Japan, it's exactly the same. They don't require you to have it. They do recommend that you have it, but they don't require it. The other motivation you could have to do a TEFL course is so that you feel more prepared when you go into the job, which I guess you could make a case for it, but to me, I still feel like it's a waste of time. Brad, for example, signed up for a TEFL course after he had accepted a job from one of the schools. And the reason why I did this was because he got a little bit nervous and he wanted to prepare for this job. In the end, guess what? He didn't even go through it. In fact, when he arrived at the trainers actually told him that the teachers that do the best are normally the ones that actually never had prior knowledge or prior experience of how this whole process works. Brad has done so well that within 6 months of his 1-year contract, the school has already offered him another 1-year extension. I hope this puts your mind at ease and gives you the confidence to start applying for schools even though you don't have a TEFL certification. Once you've accepted one of the offers from one of the schools, it's time for you to pack your bags, book your flights, and get ready to leave. By now, you should have already received your criminal background check, and the only thing that you need to apply for, and that's if you do need to apply for, is your visa.
We are now officially headed to go and apply for our visas. Our Japan one was approved, so we're going to collect it, and our Taiwanese one, we're going to apply and hold thumbs to get it before we leave. Whoop, whoop.
Before we move on to part 2, I just want to address one of the most common mistakes that I've seen people make when they're applying for their visas. One of the requirements when you're applying for a visa is that normally you would have to provide a copy of your flight ticket that shows your arrival and departure dates. The mistake that many people make is that they actually go ahead and they purchase this flight ticket thinking that their visa will be successful. If it is successful, that's great. But if the visa gets denied, then you're basically stuck with a ticket that you've purchased that you might not even be able to get a refund on, or best case scenario, you'll probably get a partial refund on that ticket only. So here are the 2 options that we commonly use. You can use an airline like Emirates to be able to reserve your seats for 72 hours. That normally costs around $20, and it'll also provide you with the flight details that you can use for your visa application. Or you can use an online reservation site like dummyticket.com, which normally costs around $10 to $20 depending on which site that you use. All you need to do is provide your personal details, your destination, as well as the dates, and they'll be able to provide you with an online reservation that you can use to apply for your visa. And once your visa is successful, then and only then do you go and buy the tickets.
First time traveling internationally with a group of my best friends, and this is going to be exciting. Oh, we're not.
You left your best friends at home.
Yeah, I know. This is both exciting and sad because I've left a lot of people behind. But you know, I've got to leave the nest, and this is a good opportunity to get out of my comfort zone, and I hope that I make a good run of it.
We're on the flight. Part 2, the process after you arrive in the country. This will be more specific to Taiwan, but I feel like the process will be kind of similar in the other countries as well.
We're on the bus.
Our first bus of many. We've got 2 buses. We're taking this bus to the main station. Then we've got like a 30-minute wait, and then we get on the main bus to Kaohsiung.
Gashong.
Accommodation. Once you arrived, the school had already organized accommodation for Brad for 7 days, and he had the option to extend it to 10 days if he needed more time to look for an apartment.
Brad, what do you think of your accommodation for the next 7 days?
Looking good, looking good.
It's got a sofa, little kitchen nook, I could say.
Oh, it's got a fridge.
He's got a bed. He's got a desk and a 1920 looking TV.
1920, it's HD, Tamz.
Holy moly.
Super old. The very next day, the school organized an agent to take us to look at different apartments. And I'll be honest, the apartments weren't really great. So what I recommend is that before you meet the agent, first go onto a website called 591.com.tw. It's a property site that you can go through to find the style that you like. And once you find a couple of styles that you like or apartments that you like, you can send the links to the property agent and tell him that, hey, you like these apartments. Maybe he can take you to those ones instead of wasting your time on looking at properties that actually don't suit your style at all. We found the place for Brad on the third day.
Welcome to the main bedroom. That's where Brad will be staying. And here's the second bedroom. Here's the bathroom. Let me show you how the toilet flushes. She's got like a bidet and everything. It's like we're back in Japan. From the back and the center, there's an oscillating nozzle, pressure, temperature, and look how cool this is. So you see all these buttons. It says half flush, full flush, and it says lid and seat close. Oh, no. I don't know what I did, but that wasn't it, obviously. Out from the kitchen, there is a balcony. Let me open. It's a very stiff door. There's an outdoor tap if you want to clean the floor. It's a little dirty. And there's a washing machine included. And there's fabric softener. And then here is the geyser.
Signed the lease.
Brad, what are you doing?
I'm signing a contract for my first apartment, and it's in Taiwan. And here I go. Is this my full name?
Yes.
Full name?
Brad has officially signed his first apartment. Well done, Brad.
Thank you, thank you.
Don't forget our payment is free accommodation while you're staying. Lifetime.
Free accommodation.
Okay, I've got that a verbal agreement.
And moved in on the fourth day.
We are moving out.
Pass the phone, let me show what you guys look like.
This is what it is.
Okay, say hi to Nick. This is Nick moving out with all of Brad's shit.
Oh wait, I've got packets here.
And Brad's got the leash shit.
Brad's pretty much carrying his normal bags.
Listen, okay? I'm actually going to miss this hotel. And I liked it even though it smelled like rotting eggs. Every day when we opened the sink tap. I actually quite liked it here, but we are moving out, unfortunately, to a much better place.
Woohoo!
And on the fifth day, Brad had already started his 2-week training with the school. And during this period, he would also have to go get his health check done.
Good. I'm not sure what's going on, to be honest. But if they require a stool sample, I'm gonna have to go home and do that, and then bring it back tomorrow. Because I can't go here.
Why not?
Oh, I don't need to go first of all. No. I'll have to bring it back.
The health check normally takes about an hour to 2 hours to get done. And once that is done, it takes about 2 weeks to get your report. And once the school receives your health report, then they are able to start the process of getting your work permit, which I think took Brad about 1 or 2 days, and also to get your residency card. If that was complicated, you don't need to worry about any of this. The school will handle the whole process from beginning to end. So as soon as Brad finished his 2-week training, his work permit was already issued to him and he was able to start working the following day. So that's how easy it is to land an English teaching job in a foreign country in under 21 days. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.